Hello again, my friends. It's been a while. I'm sorry about that. It took a little longer between videos than I meant to, but I thought I'd finish up this. Yeah, I think this is going to be my last Garbage Pail Kids video because pretty much hit the end of my collection. Maybe I can do a little video on some of the non-card collectibles that I have that are Garbage Pail Kids related. I might do that. And then I do have wacky packages that I might take you on a tour of as well. But anyway, right now we're looking at the next 3 series of Garbage Pail Kids released in the UK, sometimes known as the Garbage Gang. So let's take a look at Series 4. Now, as you remember from the previous video, the UK prints are smaller, and also they are not die cut. And besides that, they are also very strange, especially from Series 3 onward, in terms of numbering and printing. So, for instance, you'll see there's a 125A to start this series, but there's no 125B. It's not that I don't have that; it's that it doesn't exist in the UK version. They didn't print that, so they sort of picked and chose the cards that they wanted to include, and sometimes they didn't include A, and sometimes they didn't include the B. It's very strange. In this series, they did not change any of the names of the cards, although they had done that in previous UK series. There are some weird things where some of the nameplates are different colors, and in some cases the logo is a different color than it was in the original printing. And in terms of what we've got in this series, we have 64 cards from the US 4th series and 20 cards from the US 5th series. Again, they kind of pick and choose. It's weird. So here we've got very familiar guys here. There's Armpit Brit and Shaggy Aggie. And I've got a hole here because I am in fact missing one here. Let's see if I can figure out which one it is from my checklist here. Okay, so there's a different version of 126B. I wonder what the difference is. There's some kind of variation. I'm not 100% sure what it is. We've got Traveler Travis. Okay, so here I do have a variation on Flat Tyler. So let's see what this looks like. So we've got this plain color puzzle piece back. And this one has the Chain Smoker Wanted for Air Pollution back. So I'm guessing that's the same thing with Shaggy Aggie. There's this back is a puzzle piece back, and then there's probably also a one of these wanted poster backs that I don't have. So there are variations like that. Here's Slosh Josh and Locale. Got those guys. And here's another Locale. So you see this Locale has the wanted poster back. And this guy has a different wanted poster back. So this one is wanted for housebreaking. And we've got secondhand rows. So we've got a 129A, but again, no 129B. And we've got 130B, but no 130A. I've just got a variation on that. We've got a wanted poster wanted for prohibiting free speech, and the other one is for dirty tricks. Then we've got a couple of Rutherford B. Hay. Again, no 131A, and this one, in this case, they're both puzzle piece backs, but they're different parts of the puzzle. Again, no 132A, but we do have B on Zip Zach. He's got a wanted poster back. Then we've got Fairy Mary and Foxy Francis. And we got another Foxy Francis. So this one has this puzzle piece back. And this guy has a different puzzle piece back, you'll see. We've got Hip Kip and Walt Witless. We've got 2 Walt Witnesses. And again, it's a different back, different puzzle piece back is the variation there. Rock Ehar and Mardi Gras, and I've got 2 Mardi Gras. Again, it's a different back, different wanted poster. We've got Swollen Sue Ellen and Bloated Blair. Another Bloated Blair, so probably again a puzzle piece back variation. Yep, that's different puzzle piece. Okay. And there's another weird thing where we got a 137A but no 137B in this series. And then I've got two different copies of 138B. Outer Space Chase, always one of my favorites. That classic sci-fi look to it. And this has got the checklist, which again, as I've said before, is very important in the UK series. And the other one has the puzzle piece back. Because, like I was saying, the UK series, you never really know if you're missing one or not, unless you have the checklist, because of the weird numbering. Let's see, we've got this guy, Double Iris, and Four-Eyed Ida, and I've got a couple of Four-Eyed Idas. I'm sure it's another back variation. Got, yep, different puzzle piece backs. We've got Ashley Cannon, Greta Garbage, another Greta Garbage. Lots of back variations in this series. Bruce Moose and Hunted Hunter, and another Hunted Hunter. Then we've got Melba Toast and High Rye, another High Rye. Horny Hal and Rudy Toot. And you can see all the different backs going on here. And another Rudy Toot. Got this snail guy. It's always kind of grossed me out a little bit. That's the point. It's a Garbage Pail Kid card. Again, I've got two crushed Shellys because got different backs there. Got different wanted posters. Got the bus driver for slave driving, and the chain smoker for air pollution. Got a couple of dry guys. 146B. Different backs again. Different puzzle piece backs. And then I've got an empty spot here. Let's see if I can check on my checklist that I have over here on my computer. See what we're missing. We are missing Amazing Grace. 147A. So there is a 147A, I just don't have it. I've got two copies of 147B, Muscular Molly, with different puzzle piece backs. And then we've got Turned On Tara and Puzzled Paul. So Puzzled Paul is 149A. We don't have, this series doesn't have the other version of that. So you'll remember in the original US series, there were three different names for that card. There was a Puzzled Paul, Reese Pieces, and then there was a third name that I can't remember. But they when they went to the second printing, they took out Reese Pieces and replaced it with a different one, which led to lots of variations. But the UK does not have that variation. So we've got Harry Harriet, Bushy Bernice, couple of Bushy Bernices, because we've got a wanted poster and a puzzle piece back. Losing Faith, a couple of Dying Dinahs. Whisperin' Woody. Ventriloquist, a couple of those. Jack-o'-lantern. Basket Casey and a couple of Dribblin' Derricks. It's usually the B card for some reason that has the back variation. This one has the completed puzzle and the puzzle piece back. Spiky Mikey and Nailed Neil here. And Igloo, and again we we're missing a card here. Never mind. I'm looking through to the next page. So let's see what we're missing there. 155B. Next after that should be 156A. Oh, I do have a 156A. I think there might be a variation. Okay, there's a 155B variation that I'm missing. That's probably a back variation, different puzzle piece back. We've got a couple of Brett Vets, of course, and Warren Warrens. Larry Lips, a couple of Distortin' Mortons. Okay, and then we get to this guy, Melton Elton and Igloo. Couple of Igloos. And again, this was another card that in the US series had a third name. I believe it was Crystal Gale. But in the UK version, that variation does not exist because they based their print on like the second printing of the series, which didn't have that name. So that's kind of interesting. And we've got different wanted poster backs for that guy and different puzzle piece backs for that guy. Moving on, another one of my favorites, Decapitated Hetty, Formaldehyde, again with the back variation. Now there's another weird one where we've got Hygiene 161B, but there's no 161A. We've got Yicky Mickey and Barf and Bart, one of the grosser, the grosser cards of all time, really. Again, another back variation there. Ruby Cube, a couple of Ruby Cubes, back variation. And again, this is a 163B, but there's no 163A. That's the way it works sometimes. And we've got these guys, Dana Druff and Flaky Faye, with the back variation. No Way Jose, 166B, but there's no 166A. 167A, Mick Dagger. I've got two of those. Again, another back variation, you see. And we've got Terry Cloth, again, another back variation, different wanted posters there. And again, these are ones where we don't have the corresponding card, the B or the A in the series. Let's see what we got next. Willie Wipeout, the A but no B. Menace Dennis, the A but no B, but with a back variation. Fred Thread, the A but no B again. Johnny One Note, the B but no A. And this is always one of my favorites is Cliffhanger. He's somehow hanging himself in the air. Only one of that guy. Sprayed Wade, Pinned Penny. All these fun classic cards. And we've got Edible Ernie here. Another one I liked is the Girl in the Blender. Brenda Blender and Juicy Lucy. Cracked Craig. Couple of him. Got a back variation, I'm sure. Yep. And you'll see this series does not have any of the asterisk type variations that you would see in some other series, and it doesn't have any of those copyright variations. It just has those different back variations. Oh, another interesting thing that you'll notice here is that if we turn back a couple pages, you'll see that for the cards from series from the US Series 4, they had altered them to point the peel here arrow to the outside, because for the UK print, these are not die cut. So you would if you wanted to peel it off, you would actually have to do it from the edge, not from inside, because there's no cut inside here. But they screwed up, and for the cards that they took from the 5th series, they did not do that, and they left the arrow pointing in as if there was a die cut, but there still is not one. So just another interesting weird thing. So that's how you can tell where we flip over from the US 4th to the US 5th, because the arrow starts pointing in. I always remember this guy as the first card from that series. I don't know why I remember that, but yeah, so you'll see all these, the arrow is pointing in, even though they really should have updated it to point out, since the die cut was not there, but there you go. Nasty Nancy and Surreal Neil, another one of my favorites, based on the Dali painting. And again, here we've got just the A and just the B. And here's another just the B. Another one of the grosser cards. Connie Sewer eating her own snot. Dental Daniel. This guy I always liked. Michael Mutant with the human mask over his monster face. Got a couple of Toothy Ruthies with different backs. And another one I always liked. Def Jeff blasting his ear out with the big boom box. And there's another Def Jeff, again another back variation. We've got different wanted poster backs. And again, for this series, I do have a package. This is a version of the package that the cards would come in the UK. And again, with this, you can confirm that it is indeed a UK package, because it says, where is it? Made in the Republic of Ireland, down there in the bottom right corner. So there you go. That's Series 4. And then the numbering gets even weirder. Now when we move on to UK Series 5, they decided to discard the US numbering entirely and slap on their own numbering. So The way they did that was they put a little white box in the corner over top of the original number on the card and printed their own number. So that's weird. Um, Again, there's no name changes in this series. These all have the original names of uh, of the U.S. series. Let's see. Uh, oh, there's also I'm just looking up some of the information online about this series because there's always some interesting weirdness. Uh, let's see. What does this one contain? Da, da, da. Sequential by the UK series. Okay. The numerical sequence of the Garbage Pail Kids were so unsequential by the UK 5th series that white numbered boxes were implemented to cover the US numbering system. Uh, any cards that were skipped over in the UK 3rd and 4th series were used for this release. The 5th series contains 58 card characters from the US 5th series and 20 cards from the US 6th series. So there you go. Tons of variations in this series, apparently. So we begin with 91B. So even the weird thing is that even though they made their own numbering, they still have such a weird combination of things that you still end up with cards that are only the B. So we only have the B for Batty Barney, and we've got 2 different backs here for that guy. We've only got the A with Handy Randy, but again, this, as I was saying, lots of variations. So like I think every card has like a back variation at least. Here's Necktie, and you'll remember we saw this guy in the previous series, his A version. Now we've got the B version. I'm missing one here. Let's see if I can figure out what that is. So that guy's 96B. So, oh, we've got a variation. Right, of course. So there should be a variation of Tag Tad that I don't have. One of my favorites here is Hugh Turn. He's always fun, and then we've got a variation for him. So I don't know if I'm gonna mention every single variation because pretty much every one of these has a different back. So you get the idea. We've got Hot Dog. Here's another barfing one. Always a favorite. So interestingly enough, I only have that one, and I don't have a space for that one. So that must be one of the few cards in this series that does not have a variation. Yeah, I see now from my my online checklist that is the case. Here's Ross Roast. And another Ross Roast. Gil Grill. Nat Nerd. Again, one of the few cards in this set that does not have a variation. Fried Franklin. You see, a lot of these are just singles, just the A or just the B, because they're just sort of filling in the gaps from what they didn't print in earlier series, which is very strange. Raz and Roslyn. I really don't know why they did that. It seems like a really weird choice. It seems like it would have been much easier to simply reprint exactly what was in the US series rather than like pick and choose and then you get the numbering all mixed up and have to like print their own numbering on top. It's very strange. But there you go. Zeke Freak. There's the again, we saw this guy, the A version of this guy in the previous series. Now the B version shows up in this series. Haunted Hollis, Tanya Hyde, Diaper Dan. And then weirdly enough, you'll see here's Upside Down Donald at 170A when his other version was way back here as 100B. So yeah, even weirder stuff is going on here, where the A's and B's are even mixed up and in different places. It's very strange. So yeah, this one is very tricky to put together and to get all the cards because you're sure you've. Wait, I just saw that one. I already had that one, but it was a totally different number. And here we've got, you'll see I have 4 different kit spits. So let's see what we've got going on here. Yeah, we've got 4 different backs. Oh, and another interesting thing with this set is that we had 2 different versions of the checklist in this set. And one of them had these black bars on it because They even got confused and printed some names on this checklist that actually weren't in the set, and they had to black them out. There's another version of the checklist somewhere in here that does not have the black bars where they corrected that mistake. And I've got an empty space here. I wonder if there's even another kit spit that I'm missing. Let me see. Let's see what we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 variations on kit spit. So there's yet another one I'm missing there. That's pretty wild. There's Fran Furter. This one was one I liked. It was Bud Bucky here. And then here's, you remember we saw Def Jeff in the earlier set. Now we've got his counterpart, Audio Augie. And here's another version of him. Different back, I'm sure. There's Tiny Tim. I always kind of like that one. Particularly weird and surreal. And now here's Iron Jaw Aaron at 175A, which I am pretty confident we saw earlier, his other version. Let's see if we can find it. There he is. There's Gene Machine at 102B. So weird. Just so strange the way they did this. Here's Ginger Snapped. And then we've got George Washington. And again, here's Mel Meal when we saw his counterpart earlier as a completely different numbered card. And you'll see the lettering is weird in this series, even though they made their own, because they didn't want to see. We've got 177A is Mel Meal, but then we've got a 177B, which, you know, obviously in the US set, if they had the same number, they were always the same art. They just had a different name. But here, they've actually paired these two together, and they're completely different cards, even though they have the same number and a different letter. It's very weird. So that will confuse the heck out of you if you're trying to put this series together. I remember that it definitely confused the heck out of me. Here's 178A, Gory Rory. There's Claire Stare, Ben Bolt, Pam Ham, Delicate Tess, Trina Cleaner, Mark Spark, Geriatric. You'll see each one of these is a different card here. We don't even have any in a row that are the same the same art. It's very strange. I know I keep saying that, but here we go with Radar Ray. And here's Surreal Neil's counterpart, Dangling Dolly. We saw that guy earlier. Clean Maureen. Shish Kebab. Gourmet. Yeah, and even though sometimes they'll put the same number on 2 consecutive cards so they can keep the like A-B sequence, here they did not do that. There's a 187A and then immediately is 188A. There's no 187B. But then even this one is 188A, Ruptured Rupert, and then this one is numbered 188B, even though it's a completely different card. It's mind-boggling. This one is John. I always like that one. Him taking the bath in the urinal. Here's Fluoride Floyd. Moist Joyce. Lovely. Another Moist Joyce. Let's see, back here we've got the puzzle piece back, and this one has the completed puzzle back. So there's a variation there. A couple of Coy Roys. A Jules Drools. Remember we had a whole bunch of Kit Spits earlier. Now we finally hit Jules Drools. And I've got an empty space here. So I'm guessing there is a Jules Drools variation that I'm missing. Yeah, that's the case. And then we've got brushed off Brenda, a couple of her, and 3 of her. Got all 3 different backs here. Oh, there's a 4th one up here. So we have another back for her. She's got 4 different back variations. That's wild. Hot Rod, Shrill Jill. Now we've finally got around to Slade. We saw Mick Dagger earlier. Good old Handy Andy. He's having some trouble with the nails there. Jordan Nuts. Got 3 Jordan Nuts. He's got a number of different variations there in the backs. And I may even be missing one of his variations because this is an empty spot here. Let me check that really quick, see what I'm missing. Yep, I'm missing a Jordan Nuts variation. We've got a couple of 197As. And then there's another one where we have a 197B that's a completely different card from the A. Here's Spencer Dispenser. A couple of back variations there. Clark Kent. Eavesdropping. This is one where they put the... Oh no, I'm wrong. Never mind. We got Clark Kent, Eavesdropping. I've got a bunch of blank spaces here. Let's see what that's about. If we've got a bunch... Yeah, there's a number of eavesdropping back variations. It looks like there's 5 different variations, so I only have 2 of the variations. I'm missing 3 of those. Then we've got Wormy Shermy, Barbecue, Repaired Rex, Dottie Dribble, good old Bill Ding, Lazy Louie, I always like that one, all drippy and melty. Blue Boy George, I remember that there were a lot of variations of this card in the US series, and you'll see there are quite a few here as well. There's 4 different variations, 4 different back variations here. And then we've got a bunch of Stingrays, a bunch of different variations there, all different backs. And there's a 5th variation for Stingray over here with yet another back. And then finally, we've got Mosquito to finish off this series. And I'll come back in just a sec and give you the rundown on the final UK series, which is Series 6. Okay, here we go. Series 6 UK. Alright, so again, we got the little white boxes covering the original numbering so that the UK series could have its own numbering, which still, even though they made their own numbering, makes no sense at all. We got Rust and Justin 159B to start with. They start the series with a B. And here's Overflow 186A, who is the... Oh, and again, the numbers are like not even sequential, even though they made up their own numbers. So it's just absolute nonsense. And we saw Overflow in the previous series. Her A version was in that series. Like, again, this series is just filling in the gaps of all the cards that they didn't print already from the 4th and 5th sets. And this one ends up having 48 cards from the US 6th series and 40 cards from the US 7th series. We've got 44 variations in this set. Let's see if there's any interesting facts here. Oh, so here's an interesting one. One of the cards, let me skip ahead to that one so you can have a look at it. They actually printed exactly the same card. In the 5th series, they used Barbecue as 201B, and in this series, they printed Barbecue again as 245B. Just to make it even more confusing, they actually printed exactly the same card in 2 different series with a different number. Just really strange. Well, we'll get to that one eventually. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's see. We've got GPK, always one of my favorites. I always love the meta ones. This is a card peeling itself off. But again, what's funny about this is the art, of course, here is based on the US version of the card, which is die cut, but the UK versions are not. So it wouldn't actually peel off like that anyway. And you'll see they have the peel here arrow again pointed off. Sorry about the screaming in the background. That's just my kids being silly. They have the peel here arrow. Anyway, yeah, so they got the peel here arrow pointed off to the outside of the card again, because of the non-die cut. Oh, and there goes my dog. I got all kinds of... All right, so I think my dog's done barking now. I got a lot of different background noises in this video. Sorry about that, folks. So here's Dynamite and Louis Squeeze. I'm looking on my online thing here, and it seems that there are some name changes in this series, so I'll have to to try to mention those when we come to one. Here's Well Done. And again, we've got some back variations. You'll see I have a couple different copies of that guy. And there's my kid screaming again. Here's Blasted Billy too. I remember he was was he? No, I'm remembering wrong. I was gonna say I thought he was the last card in a series, but I'm thinking of the female version of this card that was the very last card in like I think that was like series 13 or something, right? Anyway, here's Teed Off Tom. And we've got Paddlin' Madeline and Joel Hole. First Ada. This was always an interesting one where they very, very rarely did they incorporate the bubble with the name on it into the card art, and in this case they did, where they made it like it actually looks like a band-aid. Yeah, I always thought that was an interesting one there, that they made that customization for that card. We've got, oh, so this is our first name change card. So in the US version, this card is called Seymour, which was actually kind of a funnier pun. But I guess maybe the name Seymour is not popular in the UK. I don't know. So they changed it to Seymour Sandy. Which is, you know, I feel like all those changes tend to like take away from the humor of the card, but not all the time, but a lot of the time. Here's another one, another name change. So in the US, this guy was Upliftin' Clifton, and here he's Upliftin' Cliff. I guess again, it's a name that's not as popular, and you'll see they actually, I feel like they messed up the font, right? Because Upliftin' Cliff there, it's written in a slightly different font than the other cards, isn't it? Or am I just imagining that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining that. It looks a little different to me. And we've got Blown Joan, a couple of her, and Whacked Up Wally. Hold on a sec. Okay, so moving on. We've got Noel Bowl. Always a fun guy. Here's Off-Color Claire. Now, this was Off-Color Clara in the US, which is actually quite weird because Clara, I'm sure, is a name that they use in the UK, because I remember that there's an important character in Doctor Who called Clara, but I don't know. Sometimes they just wanted to change the name for some reason. Who knows why they did things in the UK series? It all seems like pure madness. And here's Gnawing Norma. And again, this is another name change. She was a Gnawing Nora in the US. And then we've got Nervous Nelly over here. Here's Milky Wayne. Another name change. This is Small Paul, whereas in the US he was Small Saul. Interesting. Here's Trashy Trudy. Rose Dispose. And again, we're seeing back variations here. We've got different comics on the backs of those two versions of Rose Dispose. We've got Tom Thumb and Bridget Digit. Bridget Digit has got different comic on the back there. Russ Puss, one of the more disgusting and awful Garbage Pail Kid cards. Thanks for that, Garbage Pail Kids. I always like this tree guy. This is Sappy Sarah. Again, this is they just have the B version for this card. The A version is in a different series, I think. Here's Joan Clone, 220A. Then 220B, a completely different card, Banana Anna, and that one has a couple of variations. Yeah, the different corners of the puzzle there. Cracked Crystal, 221A, but 221B is a different card, Filled Up Philip. Again, with a couple of back variations. Let's see, what do we got here? Yes, slightly different, different comic on the back. On the Mark, 222A. And then 222B is a different card, Paul Bunyan, Lollipoppy, and Lily Popped. Jackpot. And another one of my favorites, even though it's probably a little culturally questionable is Pagan Megan. Just really cool art on that one. It's creepy and interesting. And it's got back variation again, different comic. We got Mickey Mouse. We've got another name change here. Snotty Dottie was in the U.S. Snotty Lottie. Sometimes the name change is very confusing. I don't know why they bothered. Pierced Pearl, 226A. 226B is June Moon. That's a fun one. Bee Sting. We got the bugs together here. Sticky Nicky and Bee Sting. We've got Grilled Jill over here. And we've got these different backs. Uncool Carl. Good old Adam Boom. And you remember we saw his counterpart earlier on in the series. Sometimes they put them in completely different spots for no particular reason. Here's Bloodshot Scott. Brainless Brian. Gymnasium. I always like that name. And especially since my name's Jim. Kind of appreciate that. Here's Ashley Trey, another one with some great detail to the art. And the B counterpart, Bernie Burns. We've got the Christmas guy here, Chris Mess at 232A. But at the next card, 232B, we have Christine Vaccine. Very appropriate to this time. Everybody get your vaccine. This is a pro-vaccine YouTube channel. Here's Royale Flush. And his alternate is not here. Instead, we've got Trash Can Ken. I always liked Royale Flush, the card reference there. Harry Canary. And then we've got Grant Ant, and of course we saw earlier his, here he is, at 227B with Sticky Nicky. It's not until 234B do we see his alternate Grant Ant. We've got Ugly Hans, Jan Hand, good old Curly Shirley, Suckin' Sybil, Tongue-Tied Tina. So we've got the different puzzle piece backs for that guy. Toe and Owen has back variations as well. He's got the completed puzzle back and a puzzle piece. Here's Phil Grimm all by himself, all by his lonesome. A couple of Alien Allens, Pete Seat, and here's Haley Comet. We saw June Moon earlier. Let's see, Sharpened. And we've got Wind Sheila. So we had Sharpened Sheena, followed by Wind Sheila. Old Gloria, Valerie Vomit, another one of the more disgusting cards. Yep. Cannibal Stew, all by himself. Followed by Dry and Ryan, couple of variations. Another one I always liked is Lee Tree. A lot of great detail there on the tree. Very surreal, magical feel to it. Back variations there. And here's Lee Tree's alternate, Sherwood Forest. And then we've got another name change here with Welcome Matthew, who used to be Welcome Matt in the US version. I'm not sure why they felt like they had to put the hyphen in there, and just to make sure you understood the pun. I don't know why they had to. Is Matt not a name in the UK? I don't know. And there's Muddy Maud, the alternate. Reptilian Lillian. Oh, and here's Barbecue. This is the one we were looking for earlier, where they've actually already printed Barbecue in the previous series, like literally the same card with a different number, same name and everything. So that's fun. Another thing to incredibly to keep you very confused as a collector. Like, wait, I already have Barbecue, but no, that was a different number in a different series. Here's Wheelbarry. Here's another name change, another one that's very confusing. It's actually the same name, basically, but they just split it up differently. So in the US, this guy is called Rusty Heap, with Rusty as the name, Rusty. But in the UK, he's Russ tea heap. I guess Rusty's not a popular name in the UK. I don't know. There's Hector Collector, the alternate for GPK that we saw much earlier in this series. Many Lenny. Newly Dead Ed is the name I always enjoyed. Have a Nice Dave is another classic I've always liked. And finally, we have Soured Howard. And that's it for the UK series. There were a couple other name changes it looks like I missed. We had a Brainless Brian, who had a Y in the name Brian in the US version. In the UK, he has just spelled with the regular I, Brian. And then we had Grilled Jill, who became Grilled Gil. Or I should, the other way around. It was Grilled Gil, who became Grilled Jill. And then we had Cranky Kristen, who became Cranky Christine. And there were a number of 7th series US cards that were never used in the UK. It says here, I'm using this tripod site, Garbage Pail Kids, with underscores in between the words. I'll put the link to that on in the description, because I've gotten a lot of good information from this website. But it says here that a UK 7th series was produced but never released and remains unpublished. So that's interesting. And what do we get? Other information here. The US 1st series through the 7th series and the US 10th through 12th are the only sets depicted in the original series UK GPK releases. The US 8th, 9th, 13th, 14th, and 15th are not found in any original series UK sets. And then there was, however, a UK all-new series sticker set that did contain some of those characters, so that's interesting. I did not realize that. Maybe I should look and see if I can collect some of those. I'd like to see some of those characters in UK versions. There's an all-new series. That might be interesting to see. Anyway, here is I also have a package in my collection here from the UK Series 6 packaging. Anyway, there you go. Gave you a lot of information there. Some interesting stuff going on in the UK series. A lot of weird numbering stuff going on. It's an interesting set of cards to collect. A lot fewer, obviously, than the US original series, but still a good number. A lot of variations, a lot of weirdness. It was fun to put together. You can pick these up on eBay. That's where I got them. So there you go. Like I said, I might do a couple more videos of Garbage Pail Kids memorabilia that I have, and possibly some videos of wacky packages, which are kind of related to GPK. Really, GPK was born out of wacky packages, and they very often sort of cross-pollinate. You'll see wacky package themed inserts in newer Garbage Pail Kid series releases. You'll see Garbage Pail Kid related stuff sometimes show up in wacky packages. It's kind of a similar kind of feel, although wacky packages are actually much older than GPK and also have even more extremely confusing variations. So maybe we'll talk about that in future videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys later.